And welcome to the soggy northern beaches for grand final day in the Jack Scott Cup. Hello, my name is Jack Clifton and welcome to Rat Park for grand final day at Sydney University up against the Randwick Magic. Unfortunately, the heavens have opened over the last 30 or 40 minutes and the field is looking pretty soggy, but it certainly hasn't dampened the expectations of both the fans of the Sydney University side, the reigning premiers, looking to finish the season on high and make themselves one of the few teams to go through the whole season undefeated. Well, the Randwick Magic, they certainly aren't without their support. Plenty of fans have flocked over from the inner city to cheer on their girls, who finished second in the season, 9 wins and 4 defeats for them. Sydney Uni, as we mentioned, at 13-0, and well, coming off an absolute barnstorming performance last week against Eastern Sobers, who finished fourth. They beat them 77-0 last week at home in that first versus fourth clash to get through to the grand final. Randwick, no slouches either. They won 55-12 in their performance to get through over the Western Sydney 2 Blues. So both sides coming off really big wins. They'll be hoping that can give them a bit of a platform to build from here this afternoon. And we're underway in the Jack Scott Cup final. Jack Clifton is my name. A pleasure to bring you through the action over the next couple of hours or so. And don't forget that at 3:45, as we say, Uni thumped the ball downfield early on for it's picked up here by Morrison. Trying to gain a little bit of field position early on. As I was saying, we do have the Sevens finals at 3:45. There's been a few games already in the preliminary rounds and also the semi-finals we've seen just before. A cracking game between Eastwood and Gordon, and we'll get those teams for you a little bit later during the broadcast. But at the moment it is the Magic to have been able to gain possession and try to push their way forward. Possession obviously a huge part of today, particularly in the wet, so we're going to be looking to see if teams can be able to hold on to possession. Often you find in these conditions, safety first rugby can be the way, even if it does look a little bit down, a little bit boring, and ploughing their way through the middle there through Stojanovska, where this Randwick side, they get it from the breakdown and spread it across this wide back line they have set up here in this afternoon's game. As he mentioned, pretty treacherous conditions. It's certainly not great weather for any kind of sport, but particularly rugby union, and I think we'll see a few of those jerseys from both the Randwick and Sydney Uni girls have a fair bit of mud and dirt on them by the time half-time comes around. But early stages here, we've only had a minute and a half gone, and we see the first error of the game as it's battered back, and Sydney University not too keen on playing on, and the penalty has been given to the Randwick side about 35 metres from the Uni try line. These two sides met early in the season twice. The first meeting, probably not something that the Randwick Magic would have been focusing on too much, a 28-0 drubbing at the hands of the students. They met later on in the competition in round 11, and that was a tantalising game with Sydney Uni winning 27-25. And a close game where Randwick almost pipped their neighbours and caused one of the upsets of the season, but they will be hoping that third time lucky is the charm for them as they work themselves inside the 22 as it's ploughed forward there by Breen. And Breen takes a couple of defenders with her from the breakdown. It's a horrible pass by Stojanovska, almost picked up by the students, but the Magic do well to hold on to it and try and spread it out there through Morgan. Morgan is eventually driven back about 8 or 9 metres. From the breakdown, they spread it down that blindside edge, but tackled about 35 metres from the try line. Both sides feeling each other out in these early exchanges, hoping to try and find some technical deficiency or a chink in the armour defensively of the other side. Sydney Uni having to do a lot of defence early on. They'll be hoping that they can force an error or two here. Randwick have had pretty much all the possession in these early stages, although they do a little chip and chase down that right-hand side, and it has come off the legs there of Laws, the fullback, back to hat-trick last week for the students in that 77-0 demolition. They were red hot.
Sorry,
so the students just having to do a bit more defensive work in these early stages than they perhaps would have liked. A nice little chip into the corner there, able to put them under a little bit of pressure, and Laws couldn't hold on to that one as it dribbled over the touchline. I guess one concern is the rain here at Rat Park, but also the wind as well. It's wouldn't say it's a blustery breeze at the moment, but as the ball has been left behind, and it's been towed forward by Sydney Uni, and it's a foot race into Randwick half, diving for the ball and chipping up a bit more. It's racing through here for the students. It's towed ahead again. It comes off the side of the boot, heading towards the touchline, and that's exactly what happens. It's going to be a line out here for this Randwick side. Perhaps a little bit fortunate to get that one back after it was towed ahead a few times there by Sydney Uni. It shows how quickly defence can turn to attack for the minor premiers. So we break for the line out here from Amosa. It's a short one, and it's going to give Uni a chance to try and drive this Magic offense back a little bit. They are pinned deep inside their own 22. Will have a bit of a mountain to climb just to kind of get in some decent field position here, and they're going to go back and clear the ball deep into touch. Goes out right on the 22, so at least that gets it out of harm's way, but it will be a line out going the way of Sydney University. Nice crowd here at Rat Park this afternoon. They've nestled themselves in not only just for this grand final in the Jack Scott Cup, but also in the Sevens tournament that's been going on so far this morning and this afternoon. We saw a cracking game between Gordon and Eastwood, and we also saw a nice win for Southern Districts over Canberra University, as it's almost intercepted there on the far side by Swan, but unable to pull it in. As it's Sydney Uni that find themselves about 15 metres away as they now get their opportunity to attack this Randwick line. They haven't had much quality ball. They spread the ball now to this right-hand side, trying to keep it alive. There was Sarah Nunkwama, and it's been stolen at the breakdown there by Randwick, but it's not going to count. It's going to be a penalty to Sydney Uni. Opportunity again presents itself for the students. What's the decision going to be? They've given it to their fly half in Ash Houston, the veteran. And she's going to be lining up and try and open up the account for this grand final. 35-minute halves in the grand final as well. 28 and a half left in this first half. And it's going to be Sydney University with an opportunity to bag first points. And it's certainly not a given considering how difficult the conditions are out there. The wind sweeping across Houston from right to left. She lines this one up, bangs it right down the middle. First points of the grand final go to Sydney University. And they lead by 3 points to nil, courtesy of Houston's penalty goal. And we've had their lion's share of possession in these early stages. 8 or so minutes gone. Got Aaron Morton here in commentary with me. Aaron, a pleasure to have you alongside me. A little bit nicer up here than it is out in the field for the sides, but what has your impression been of the first 6 or 7 minutes between those two sides?
Yeah, a lot of early pressure there from Randwick. Looked really good in that opening 3 or 4 minutes. The problem with Uni is they've just got stars all over the park. If you give them any space, like we just saw, they'll take you 90 metres and make you pay.
They've done that, although Randwick will be happy that they didn't concede a try, but they will be playing from behind here as University just ruck the ball forward. It's like an avalanche going forward through the middle of the park, and they can hold on to possession in these greasy conditions, then they're going to cause a lot of problems for that Randwick defence, who hoping to try and force an error here with Uni inside their own half, and they do just that as they're able to force the students over the sideline. It will be a line out going the way of the Randwick side. So you mentioned a little bit earlier in the broadcast, it was the Magic with more than a comfortable win, a thumping win over the Western Sydney 2 Blues last week by 55 points to 12, and Sydney University winning 77-0 against Eastern Suburbs. Short line out there by Randwick. It's a shocking looking pass, and it's going to come back. It is going to be a penalty here to the Magic. they'll just tap and go, giving it to their big forwards to try and create some divots in this defence, and they may have just created a divot in one of the Sydney University defenders there. A good strong carry up this final third of the field. They've been down here a couple of times this afternoon, and they decide to chip over a top, trying to use their quick girls to keep some pressure on it. Looks like it is going to be taken dead in goal. It is. So Randwick will get the football back, and Aaron, they've done that a couple of times. They've opted to try and ruck the ball up the middle a little bit, but are obviously liking that chip kick in behind to try and turn the students around, and obviously pretty hard in conditions like this where your sprigs can kind of get caught in the sodden grass a little bit. Yeah,
territory is king today.
Picked up just inside there by Morgan. They spread the ball across field. Good looking play there by Morrison as she links up with some outside players there. They work themselves, keeping themselves just inside touch on that far side of the field, and again their big forwards trying to plough forward, trying to create an opening for their backs. Referee just reminding University to make sure they do stay on side as they're creeping forward a little bit, trying to put pressure on this offensive attacking line of the Randwick Magic, and it goes back to the fly half in McKenzie who can't handle it, and that's the kind of mistakes that Randwick don't need, and I guess it just shows how difficult the conditions can be. A simple looking pass like that from the breakdown, and she puts it down.
There's some blue sky on the horizon here. I'm sure it's going to clean up at the home of Rugby any moment.
That's what I think both sides will be hoping, and maybe both sets of fans, although most of the people being able to get under the wet weather. There's no fans over on the far side. I don't blame them really. The only people on the far side are the balls and the linesmen. So first scrum of the afternoon, and it almost goes against the feed. In fact, it does, and Randwick get the ball back. Students just a little bit lax there, a little bit lazy, and then they give away a penalty as well. So the cardinal sin there by the minor premiers as Randwick spread the ball, trying to find some room. They almost do. It's juggled a couple of times there by Morrison, and Morrison is poleaxed into the ground there by some strong Sydney Uni defence. The Magic now trying to create something there, and that's a 2-on-1 steal. That's going to come back and be another penalty given away. Certainly being physical defensively, Sydney University. They're going to opt to tap and go there. In fact, no, they're not. They're going to search for the touchline here. The Magic. And it's drilled into touch there by McKenzie, who are going to be relying on her and Bird quite a fair bit this afternoon to create any kind of magic and points coming the way of the Randwick side.
Yeah, she's a special young player, Bella McKenzie. Big future ahead of her.
She waits for the ball. It's an awful pass again.
Commentator's curse, yeah. Right there.
Well, the first drop was certainly her fault, but that one was right around the bootlaces. You would have to be Mark Taylor at slip to pick that one up if and the pressure was defensively was coming from the students. But it's little things, those. Well, not that it's probably more than a 1% of play there, and those kind of things you've got to do right when you're playing the best side in the competition.
Absolutely. Like we said, they will capitalise on any mistake, and we've had a pretty solid first 12 minutes. I think they're all feeling each other out here, and hopefully, as I said, the rain stops. They'll start playing some real good rugby.
Well, the fans are getting used to not seeing some tries, and the sevens, there's tries probably every 45 seconds to a minute, and we've gone almost quarter of an hour without a try, but it's been good, hard, physical rugby as Randwick's certainly not lying down, not letting Sydney Uni get any advantages. They do give away the penalty, but just trying to calm things down by the Magic. Met twice this year, the first meeting not one that's remembered fondly by Randwick fans, a 28-0 loss to the students. When they met again in round 11, it was a different story, and Randwick almost caused the University to fall for the first time this season. In the end, the students managed to hold on 27-25, and you kind of get the feeling that this game might go down a similar path. Line-up going the way of Sydney University. Taz Shepherd throws in. It's a short one again. So I guess in these wet and windy conditions, not going for those long line-outs at the risk of losing possession. From the breakdown, spun wide. Lovely pass there through the middle as the students go galloping downfield. Good cover defence, but it was a lovely pass by Ash Hewson. And break down the blind side now as it's taken forward there by Matta Wilson, and Wilson being driven forcefully by the Magic defence towards the touchline. Scrappy play as the ball ends up on the turf, but still possession. Well, no, just I say that, possession is given away by Sydney University, and a good recovery there by Randwick, considering it's a nice precision-like pass from Hewson, which almost opened up that Magic defence on halfway.
Great urgency there from the Randwick loose head to get on that ball.
And touch found probably about 7 or 8 metres shy of the halfway line. So getting the ball out of harm's way. Randwick, but they'll still need to win this line out, and this can be pivotal, the turnover differential when it comes to this area of the game. And they may have even just lost that. What they did momentarily lost about 5 or 6 metres as it was some sloppy ball handling skills, but they managed to spread the ball, and Uni are rushing up. If they spread the ball wide, there's numbers out wide to this right. It's 4-on-2. They had to let it go. There would have been some opportunities, but they decide to die with the football. They still have possession at 35 out from their own line as students try and muscle up defensively on this Randwick side. Fed out there by Bird, and she finds a runner as they get within 10 metres of the halfway line. And slung to the ground aggressively. It's not for the faint-hearted this game. As both sides throwing each other. Two cars running into each other. As it goes now to Mackenzie, a driving kick. It's a good option as well, and it takes a favourable bounce for Randwick and dribbles all the way back to about 12 metres away from the Uni goal line, but it's taken forward there by Lewis, and Lewis is tackled to the ground. It's good cover defence by the Magic, and now a penalty going the way of the Randwick side, and again, Randwick just looking to settle things down, not trying to rush their play or anything, and it's been a pretty composed effort by the Randwick side.
Yeah, Bella Mackenzie's kicking game there coming to the fore. Great chase. Got to make those one-on-ones when you give a good kick. Otherwise, there's no point. The kick's only as good as a chase. That's the old cliche. But great one-on-one tackle there and good pilfer.
Yeah, great work by Randwick, and we've seen them a few times today do that little chip kick in behind, but that was a more long-range kick from Mackenzie. Got plenty of weight behind it, and then the bounce was kind to her, and the defence was able to do the rest, and it will be Mackenzie with an opportunity to not only open Randwick Magic's account for this afternoon, but tie things up. She's about 15 metres out. Right foot strikes it right over the black dot. And we're all tied up here on Grand Final Day. 18 minutes left in the first half of this Jack Scott Cup final. It's City University 3, Randwick Magic 3. Aaron, what would the instructions be from the sideline at the moment from both these two coaches? Would they be pleased with what they've seen in the first kind of 15 to 17 minutes here?
Yeah, look, I think there's some genuine nerves out there today. There always is, especially you throw the weather into the mix and you just start doubting your natural gameplay. But look, I think it has stopped raining, so...
Tough hit.
that's Waratah teammate on Waratah teammate there, showing all the love.
Yeah, certainly no love lost out there at the moment. Penalty again going to Randwick. So, if anything, it's the students that have been a little bit sloppy in terms of giving away penalties and have turned the ball over a little bit as well. And Mackenzie might be trying to hit our mixer right about here. She's not too far away from it. People have to take cover in the stands there. She finds touch 10 shy of halfway. Well, they go the short line out again. They go too deep. Spread wide. It now goes to Mackenzie. Through the hands they go, and this is good play by the Magic. Cover defence needed by the students as it's taken through on the wing there by Tarita. She inches her way up towards halfway. And that one's going to go against the Magic, so a little bit of sloppy play there. They were, I wouldn't say they had the students on the back foot, but they're certainly making some good ground, and can't score points when you don't have the football in your hands. And they've given it back to Sydney University, and now Uni have a great opportunity to try and build some pressure and lead to some points here. 45 metres away from the Randwick try line. Talk about both teams being nervous. I think both sets of fans might be a bit nervous. There was could kind of hear all the whispers and murmurs from the crowd here at Rat Park this afternoon. Uni have thrown the ball into their own player there. Basaga probably want that one back, but thankfully it didn't hurt the students too much. Goes out wide as they turn the ball back inside. And it's the hooker Taz Shepherd who trundles away into Randwick territory. Basaga, the thumping kick over the top. It should have been taken on the full. It's a favourable bounce in the end, though, for Morrison. And Morrison runs up to the line and just over the 22 and driven into the turf there. Don't want to let the ball bounce too many times, as we have seen in plenty of sports. And now the ball is going to be heading back the way of the Sydney University side. And all of a sudden, a couple of big turnovers here by the Magic is certainly putting the momentum back into the hands of the minor premiers.
Very un-uni-like here, going for touch in a Ash Hewson kickable range. Back in the line-out.
Yeah, well, it's almost like they smell blood in the water, isn't it, Aaron? They know they can get 5 or 7 points here, and the line-out will take place probably only about 5 metres from the try line as well. So, and we could love to get a turnover here. Can they do it? Shepherd with the line-out. It's comfortably taken by Sydney Uni, and now this is what we're accustomed to seeing from the students, driving their way forward. And there's a fight in back play as well as they get almost over the line. Randwick holding for the time being. About a metre away, and it's dropped by Hewson. But it is going to be a penalty, so she taps and goes again. Bit of feeling in this one now between both the two sides, Aaron.
Eva Kapani might find herself in the bin for that, I think. It's a definite try-scoring opportunity there, and she's infringed right in front of the referee, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's going. Aaron called it. She's off. Down to 14. Well, if Randwick's job was difficult, it's become a little more difficult here as they almost try and plough their way over the line from close range, but can't do so. At the back they go forward there to Emily Chancellor, and Chancellor is only about a metre away.
They got to let it go left.
They've got plenty of numbers there, and it'll be a try begging, and it is a try for the students. Kirrily Law's in. First try of the grand final. 13 and a half left in the first half. They'd held on the Randwick Magic, Aaron, hadn't they? But too many numbers out on the left-hand side. Laws didn't need any second invitations to dive over there. And it's Sydney Uni 8 with a kick to come, leading the Randwick Magic 3.
Yeah, great to see Ash back her forwards there, take that line-out option, and obviously not straight from the line-out. Bit of patience, though, and they got the chocolates.
It was well taken by Laws. I've seen similar passes like that being dropped this afternoon in the wet conditions, and with the try line at her mercy, she did well to pluck that one out of the sky. And props to the Sydney University girls for not going for the 3 points and opting to go for the try and have a bit of time with a numerical advantage here as Ash Hewson lines this kick up about 16 or 17 metres in from touch, about 17 metres out. She's 1 from 1 so far this afternoon. Hewson with a strike, heading towards the uprights, right over the black dot. And the students go out to a 7-point lead at the moment. 12 minutes left in the first half. It is Sydney Uni 10, Randwick Magic 3.
Yeah, there's a reason they call Ash the surgeon. She doesn't miss.
No, she's a sharpshooter with a boot, and she's proved that. And, well, goal kicking is going to be pivotal this afternoon. The rain has gone away for a moment, but you can't be leaving any points out on the park in a game like this. Tough, uncompromising defence there by Randwick, as it's almost like tunnel ball there as the ball is fallen on them by Luane. As they try and create a turnover, Randwick, they probably need it because the last 5 minutes has been all Sydney University. As it breaks inside there, a nice run being taken forward Go back to Houston, who drives this kick downfield and finds plenty of space, plenty of open pastures. It takes a favourable roll and eventually is scooped up by the Magic. 35 out from their own try line as they try and inch their way towards halfway, but Sydney Uni, there was almost a wall, 4 or 5 defenders there meeting Randwick as they took the ball up. Playing run taken forward there by Famasuli. It was a good run. They needed that 6 or 7 metres up the guts of the field. Spread the ball now to McKenzie. Open side now to Fredericks. She does a bit of a stutter step, throws the ball back on the inside. It was touched there by a Sydney Uni defender. And so Randwick and their supporters breathe a sigh of relief as they'll be able to hold on to the football for a little while longer.
Randwick going to have to make a change in the front row here, or at least do some shuffling, given that Eva Kapani's still in the naughty seat.
I guess, yeah, you don't ever really want to lose any player, but when you lose one of your go-forwards and a player that is a meter eater at the best of times and tough and physical in the centre of the park.
Just damaging, so damaging on that field. She really is.
I guess we're kind of getting into pivotal time as well, Aaron, aren't we? Inside these last 10 minutes, Randwick would love to try and add to that score, a penalty goal or a try, obviously, just to reduce that deficit. But again, good tackling once more. Badabasaga there throwing herself at anyone. It's a penalty to the Magic. Spread there by McKenzie. Open side now to Fredericks. Fredericks goes further wide, finds the run of Morgan. Morgan puts one on the chest of Swan, and Swan's going to do well to stay in the field of play here. She manages to, and Randwick will be able to hold on to the football, which is what they desperately need. That even if they doesn't look like they're making too many inroads, they're just forcing Uni to do a bit of defence, which they haven't had to do a whole lot of in the last 5 or 6 minutes. McKenzie is going to get it out of there, though, and drives the kick downfield. It's another good kick, and again, it takes a good bounce inside the 22, back to about the 15. Picked up by Laws, and oh, well, that is a shocking pass, and it might be picked up by the Magic. They couldn't just hold on to it. And it will be going the way of Sydney University. Fortunately for them, that could have been a real travesty there as the pass grubbed its way along the ground.
Out of jail there. They got out of jail. Very lucky. Geez, it's a great kicking battle here between the young buck McKenzie and the, I won't call her old, I won't use the O word, but the more experienced Houston. They spent a lot of time together through the Super W season, you know, learning from each other, to be honest. And I'm loving this battle between Bella and Ash out there. It's great.
It seems to be the tactic and the way to go for Randwick in seeing what we've seen so far in today's game. They're getting better possession and better territory by kicking downfield rather than trying to kind of make it up through the guts of the field against this Sydney Uni forward pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Uni's defence is pretty sound. You know, you're not going to make a lot of line breaks against them, so you got to try and attack from close.
And ball goes into touch, just shy of the halfway. Lineup being taken. They only had 2 in the lineup there, the Magic, so there was some just suggestions that it might be best just to get a third girl in there just to help with everything. Lineup's taken, it's a short one, but it's lost there by Randwick, and Sydney Uni have the ball as Shepherd picks it up. And another turnover, another error by Randwick that's just starting to creep into their game a little bit. Badabasaga throws the ball and gives it off to Grace Hamilton, and gave, well, that's the don't argues of don't argue there as they race away downfield. Down this left edge go the students, breaking tackles at will as they get inside the 22. And some covering offence there by the Magic does enough, and they're able to turn the ball over. Well, they're pretty fortunate there, Randwick, because that was Sydney University going from second gear into third gear and looking like they were going to get their second try at the grand final. Wasn't to be, though.
How about the palm from Grace Hamilton? That was special.
Don't want to get in her way anytime. Might just be a reminder to some of the Randwick Magic defence next time they try and hit her. It wasn't if she had a head full of steam either. It was maybe 1 or 2 steps.
You want to be aiming at Grace's knees and below, even though those drive, her leg drive's so fantastic, especially after contact. It's why she eats the metres that she does, because she never submits to that tackle. But yeah, you want to be at least trying to go as low as possible on Grace.
Oh, look at this drive by Sydney Uni. That is superb work. The Magic complaining, but they don't really have a leg to stand on there. That is really good forward play by Sydney Uni, and right there is why they are the number 1 team in this competition and the reigning premiers. So inside the 22, great field position here in Houston. Drives this one into touch, and this is going to be a huge acid test for Randwick now. Just over 5 minutes left in this first half. A try here really puts the students well and truly on top. And with
Randwick got to really hang on here.
Turnover is what they need, but they might not be able to hold out here as students look like they're over the line, but the call is held up. So some desperate defence by Randwick, and something they probably needed to show in that little passage there.
If I was the front row, if I was Taz Shepherd right now, I'd be having a chat to Illy and telling her, don't take the ball out of this scrum, let's get a push-over try. Given what the Uni scrum did to the Randwick scrum last time, especially with Eva still in the bin, I'd be looking to drive this one over.
Yeah, well, they're 4-5 metres out. It's not a huge push considering what we saw from the students earlier. They lead by 10 points to 3 inside the final 5 of this first half. And driving and pushing back, and Randwick are desperate to try and hold, but they can't at the moment. Waiting for it there is Badabasaga over the line. Try for the Sydney Uni. Their second of the day, and they've opened up this game like a surgeon. They lead by 15 points to 3. Great power, great strength, and determination from the forward pack. That one's down to the forwards. They don't get a lot of credit sometimes for tries being scored, but you can put that down to some great forward play by Sydney Uni, and they open up a 15 points to 3 lead with 3.5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, and that's some experience there coming to the fore. They're fully aware that they're a player up in that forward pack, and as we said, Eva, such a damaging player too. So, being that one player up, you got to keep it in tight. And, especially in that situation, every day you're holding that in the scrum. They did a great job there.
Ash Houston with a difficult conversion, 22 metres out, or 23 metres out, but she's only a couple of metres in from touch, probably 2 or 3 metres. A bit of a breeze to contend with, but she's not kicking into the breeze. It's probably more pushing across her from right to left, but she's going to have to give this plenty of hang time and hope that the wind is kind to her to sail it through, but she's hit them pretty sweetly so far today. One penalty and 1 conversion this afternoon. Can she open up a 14-point lead? She strikes it, but not enough weight on this one as it falls about 5 or 6 metres short, but no harm done there as Sydney Uni lead by 15 points to 3, and Randwick could desperately be trying to get the football back. Well, number one, they obviously don't want to be conceding any more points, Aaron, but want to try and get some possession and get a penalty goal or try and work their way into a position for a try here before half-time.
We're back to 15 on 15. Eva's back on the field now, so they can put some pressure on here, get some points on the board before half-time. They're right.
Oh, Grace Hamilton again. Big don't argue. Sends defenders flying. She is on fire here at Rat Park this afternoon as Houston drives a sailing kick into the air. It's going to be left to bounce and dribble end over end, almost into touch. Flick back nicely there by Randwick, playing a bit of almost like Fiji and rugby there, trying to keep the ball alive. 35 out from their own line and slung forward. Carry which yields them about 4 or 5 metres. Back to the middle. And they go as it's taken for Bakapani. Pani 10 shy of the halfway line. 100 seconds left in this one, in this first half. Sydney University 15, Randwick 3. From the breakdown, they spread it into the middle of the park to Cherrington, and Cherrington rumbles her way forward and picks up 6 or 7 metres, but it's a big up and under there from Mackenzie. It's going to bounce on the 40, and it bounces favourably for Uni. Taken there. They're calling for a penalty, Sydney. They won't get one, as Iliseva Badabasaga was able to take that, and was hints that she might have been tackled in the air. Good challenges here at the breakdown from both sides. The spread wide to right and left side. Sydney University inside the final 60 seconds. Hewson kicks this one downfield. Plenty of good distance on that, and dribbles into touch just shy of the 40-metre line on Randwick's side of halfway. So line out will go the way of Randwick. Could be one of the final plays, although it's one against the throw there by Sydney University with 15 seconds remaining. Nice short ball back on the inside to the flanker and Fee Jones. She's taken down. Badabasaga there goes to Hewson. Hewson is going to be tackled around the ankles. Good defence by Randwick. It's dropped there, and it's going, we said referee has ruled it's gone backwards, so the students still have possession. Badabasaga goes to Hewson. Hewson looking to dribble this one into the corner as the siren sounds in the background, and Randwick looking to keep the ball alive. The last thing they want to do is give away possession and concede a try or concede points at this late stage with the siren already gone. Playing to the ball dies, and Randwick probably self-preservation the order of the day there. Make sure they don't cause any more extra damage. And at half-time in what has been a Bruins opening 35 minutes of this Jack Scott Cup final, it is Sydney University 15 leading the Randwick Magic 3. Before we take a break here on the live stream, get Erin's thoughts on this first 35 minutes. And really the pivotal moment in that first half was the sin binning of the yellow card to Karpani that went off. They scored, it was 3-0 when she went off. They scored 12 points when she was off the field, and Randwick are going to have to try and find something in the reserves at half time to get themselves back in this game, because the students looking very, very good.
Yeah, look, Randwick have been very close. You know, they need to, in that huddle right now, they need to be believing in themselves, because they are honestly just a few missed passes off breaking that Sydney Uni wall. And I think if they really believe in themselves, they're a young side. They won't run out of puff. And it was unfortunate. Uni did put the pressure on them, and Eva really didn't have much of a choice at that situation. There was, she either makes that tackle or Ash scores a try. So it's it was that sin binning that really hurt them, but Eva are by no means out of this.
So half-time here, it's the Sydney Uni side leading by 15 points to 3 against Randwick. We'll take a short break here on the live stream, and do join us in around 10 or 15 minutes' time for all the action of the second half. Welcome back to Rat Park for this second half, and Sydney University make their way out into the middle of the field and no doubt refreshed by what has happened at half-time. Randwick didn't leave the field. Magic stayed on the field for the whole duration of half-time, which was a pretty quick turnaround, and were in a huddle for probably 5+ minutes, weren't they, Aaron, and kind of keen to talk about that first half performance, and obviously there's still that belief there that they can go on and win this even though the deficit is 12 points.
Absolutely, a bit of focus from the Randwick girls, and look, they do have to score first in this second half. You know, that's definitely, I would say that if Uni get another one, Randwick are going to be left with a hill way too big to climb, I would assume.
So it's going to be Sydney University kicking off via the boot of Houston, and so the possession will be with the Magic to start. And they made such a bright start as well. The first 5 or 6 minutes, the ball was camped deep inside Sydney University territory, so I'll be hoping they can rediscover that. Haven't done a whole lot really wrong, the Magic. It was just that yellow card to Karpani, which led to 2 tries and a goal when she was off the field to Sydney University, which kind of turned the game a little bit. It was a tackle she had to make. If she didn't make it, it would have been a try anyway to Sydney Uni. As Randwick struggle to try and force their way up the field at the moment. Great defence from Sydney University, and the reason why they are the minor premiers, and such a strong defence, and didn't concede a point last week in that drubbing of Eastern Suburbs either. So there's a reason, and there's a bit of a collision there and no communication whatsoever, but it eventually is taken by Matta Wilson, and then she gets slung to the ground for her troubles. Second rower is Nagama, and Nagama's tackled 35 away. She releases it. They spread the ball quickly.
Numbers
to Houston.
right.
Open side here. There's an opportunity if they let it go. It now comes onto the chest there of McCalman. McCalman is eventually broken down and tackled there by some good Randwick cover defence. But they've found some openings early on here of the students. Back to the middle they go. Tasman Shepherd. She'll be hard to stop from close range. She's drilled into the ground about 2 metres away. A couple of dummies there. This could be a try coming for the students. I think you might be finding, I think it is a try. A bit of a delay there from the referee. And I think it's going to go down as a try for Sydney University. And they're just conferring with the touch judge on the far side. The player was Badabasaga that threw the dummy and managed to beat a couple of players. Still no decision from the referee.
So no try there. Obviously lost or held up over the line, and they're going back to play the high tackle.
So second opportunity there for Sydney University, but worrying signs for Randwick that they are busted open fairly convincingly in these early stages of this second half. "15 plays 3. The students, they can smell blood in the water. Can they get a third try? As it's taken there by Nagama. She tries to get to the try line. She can't. It goes to Houston. Quick passes. Good defence there by Randwick, though, and we're able to hold up Grace Hamilton, who looked destined to get over the try line. Back to Nagama. She's lunch meat for the Randwick defence and is thrown to the ground aggressively. Goes now to Houston, who beats one, beats a couple, keeps the ball alive, thrown onto the outside. Try for the students. Tamika Laws with the try out wide. And Sydney University could be running away with this grand final. 20 points to 3 with a kick to come. Only 3 minutes gone in this second half.
Fantastic work there from Uni. Showed patience. Thought they maybe could have gone wider the breakdown before, but it got there in the end. Big defence from Randwick on the line there, but just couldn't hold them out.
Yeah, pretty hard when a team as clinical as Sydney Uni are that close to the line. You know, they're probably not going to turn the ball over, and did well to turn them away probably for 5 or 6 phases, but weren't able to stop them on that 7th or 8th go. So still plenty of football left in this one, half an hour or more, but with a 17-point lead, it's looking rather grim for the Randwick Magic at the moment. Houston with the conversion attempt. 22 metres out, 6 in from touch. Hoping to add 2 more points to the score and open up a 19-point buffer. Stands at 17 at the moment. Houston strikes it. It's a good-looking kick just across the face. So no good there from Ash Hewson, but still a very comfortable lead for Sydney University, leading by 20 points to 3. 3 tries, 1 conversion and 1 penalty goal for them, and for the Magic just the 1 penalty goal. So Randwick would have been hoping they were the first team to score and come out with more, I guess, motivation and passion in their second 35, but it hasn't to be. They need to try and find something if they want to get their noses back in this game. McKenzie with the kickoff. It travels about 20 on the fly. That run is taken forward by Noella Green. Now goes to Nagama. Nagama gets some on 3, throws it out the back, but looks like it might have been scooped up there by the Randwick Magic. They've got the ball at the breakdown here as they try and force the students back. Well, this is the kind of possession and area of the field they want the ball, Aaron, isn't it? The Randwick side.
Absolutely. Scrappy at the breakdown there, but they're really fighting for it, Randwick. They bring it wide now.
They're down to 14 for the time being because there was a Sydney Uni player on the deck. I think it might have been their prop forward, Volkman, the youngster. Inside the 22 they go, Randwick. Is this their time to keep their grand final aspirations alive? They trail by 20 points to 3. Still searching for their first try. Fredericks, or sorry, that was Morgan, in fact, that managed to make 5 or 6 metres down the blind side. Back they go to Tarita, who's hit like a cement truck there as he's driven back, and Uni's defence is just so strong. Looks impenetrable at the moment, but a nice run by Farmasuli. She picks up 9 or 10 metres up through the guts of the field to get within 15 of the try line. Knock on, I think, there from the Magic is the call. And that will be the call from the referee. Not what the Randwick Magic wanted, but just that, I guess, that over-the-top pressure by Sydney University at the breakdown. And any time you try and take the ball up via a hit up, Aaron, you sometimes force back 2 or 3 metres, or you're checking to see if your ribs are still there.
Yeah, that's unlucky there for the Randwick half. She was digging in looking for that footy, and unfortunately, especially when that ball's a bit greasy, you try and dig it out and sometimes it can just fall from your grasp.
And Bird with the error on that occasion.
It's the first stoppage of the day here. It's women's rugby. It's fast and flowing sport.
Yeah, it's been a quick game. It's probably helped that the rain stayed away a little bit, and it's kind of dried the surface up as much as the dreary conditions we've had today can. But for, I guess, all the rain and cold and grey skies, we actually haven't seen that many handling errors. Probably still in single digits. So scrum will pack down for the Sydney University side, about 10 or 11 metres out from their own try line. Already had 8 minutes gone in this second half. With the lead 20 points to 3. It was 15-3 at the half. Tamika Lewis was able to get on the board out wide. I guess at least for Randwick, the last 2 tries haven't been converted, which I guess is a little morale victory for them. But a 17-point deficit stares at them in the face now, knowing that if they don't get a move on the next 5 to 10 minutes, this grand final could be gone as Houston drives this kick into touch up towards halfway.
Tempted to go quickly then, Randwick. They just held on to it. Could have been an option. They had some numbers out here on the right.
Yeah, well, they probably were wishing that the linesman's flag was up on their side of halfway, but it was actually about 10 metres forward and kind of stopped any momentum they had there from getting the quick line out. Oh, that is a shocking line out throw by the Magic, and the ball has been turned over again. That's the 4th or 5th turner I've seen from those kind of plays by the Magic, as a rumbling run taken forward there by Liwani. Bit of physicality now in the breakdown for both sides. Randwick have confirmed to have caused the infringement on this occasion. Touch is found. It bounced just inside the field of play and dribbled over the touchline. So this is where Sydney Uni want to have the football. And a great opportunity for them to take some time off the clock, grind their way downfield, and maybe put this game to bed if they were to get another try. 20 points to 3. Now given to Hewson. Hewson with an inside ball there, inside runner Grace Hamilton. And Hamilton, the number 8, taken down right on the 22. It's thrown back and then intercepted by Randwick, but they lose possession straight away. And the ball is going to be given back to Sydney University. Scrum's going to pack down pretty much right on the 22, right slap bang in the middle of the field.
I think Illy was looking for the penalty there. There was a Randwick player in a way. She got a bit agricultural with that pass then.
24.5 remaining. Sydney University 20, leading the Randwick Magic 3. In the Jack Scott Cup final, we've got sevens finals action after this as well. As Hewson puts a kick into the in-goal. It's just going to be a little bit too deep. Going to come back out to the 22, but nice option there from Hewson, showing all her experience, and almost led to a try there for Sydney Uni.
That corner of Rat Park slopes down a little bit there. She might not have known. That little bit of local knowledge could have served her well.
Yes, the sevens final between Southern Districts and the University of Adelaide. Coming up at 3:45 on the live stream that you're watching now. So make sure you don't miss that out. And a stack of substitutions being made by Randwick, almost like an ice hockey where you see 6 or 7 players come off and 6 or 7 players go on, but looking to bring some fresh legs on, no doubt, for this final, I guess, 20-minute salvo.
Yeah, they've got a big squad, the Randwick Magic, and plenty of talent on the bench, so probably a good idea from their coach to get some fresh legs out there. It's pretty heavy conditions, so hopefully those 3 new players can really add the spark that the girls need right now.
It does just take one try to change it. They get one try, they kind of convert it, they're within 10, and things are looking a bit more positive, but it's just getting that first try which has been the issue, as Mackenzie drives this kick forward, and there's plenty of green jumpers running forward, but it's taken there by Matta Wilson, who beats a couple of defenders when she picks it up, and she ends up making a 6 or 7 metre gain there. So nice work as it goes to Hamilton down the blind side, who's almost taken over the touchline. It's picked up by the students. They keep the ball alive there through Laws, and Laws gets back inside the 40-metre line. They want to spread it because you could throw a blanket over the Randwick defence. They're that kind of packed close to one another, as we see good hit up there by Taz Shepherd, who picks up 10 metres. Hewson goes further wide. Options on this right edge for the Sydney University side, but the pass was a little bit behind the intended target and just slowed down the students a touch there. Goes to the big prop forward in Volkman, and Volkman is 22 away. Now to Nagama. Nagama almost breaks her way through. They're making 6 or 7 metres off every hit up here. Sydney Uni, as Hamilton unable to take that one, and a couple of knock-ons in a row there by Sydney University. And good defence by Randwick. Let's give credit where credit's due. Rushed up and able to put the students under a bit of pressure, which is something they probably haven't done enough inside their own half when Uni have had the football.
Absolutely huge effort there from Randwick. They kept getting up off the ground for each other, making the tackles. Now they just need to score some points.
Yeah, well, they've got the football back. That's the first obstacle you've got to get past. They're at the wrong end of the field, so they'll need to try and maybe an early shift, try and catch some numbers napping of Sydney Uni. Don't think you're going to make too many inroads running up the middle of the park, and obviously you don't want to be too lateral and just spreading it from sideline to sideline, but maybe just throwing the ball around and try and keep it alive might cause a bit of problems for this Uni defence.
Uni putting this Randwick scrum under some real pressure once again.
Packed house here at Rat Park this afternoon. There's not too many spare seats in the concourse, and great to see plenty of Sydney University and Randwick fans supporting their two sides, and hell, maybe even a few Southern Districts and University of Adelaide fans looking forward to the 3:45 kickoff in the finals of the Sevens tournament. Quick spread here by Randwick. This is what they need to do. nothing else. At least they're breaking down the sideline. They make some meters. Ball back on the inside. Kept alive here by Randwick, playing their own version of Fijian rugby at the moment as they get outside the 22. Eventually pushed to ground by some strong Sydney University defence. They go back to a one-up hit-up. That's a good carry up the middle of the field by the Magic. Need a bit more of that. Right in the centre of the field here at Rat Park, 15 shy of the halfway line. Give the ball back to Mackenzie, and Mackenzie again kicks it. Much to, I guess, the displeasure of a lot of the Randwick fans who obviously want to see their team holding on to the football. And now we see some quick spread by Sydney University before McCalman is caught with the ball. Nagama, there's a poor pass from the scrum half in Badabasaga, and Nagama reaching out for it, couldn't take it. Error by Sydney University, very un-Sydney University-like there. And just leaves the door ajar here for Randwick, but time is running out for them. 19 and a half left in this grand final. Sydney Uni 20, Randwick 3.
Yeah, I can see Kennedy Cherrington in there yapping away for the Randwick Magic. She's really trying to fire the girls up. She knows she's an experienced player. She knows right now they need to strike, and I think they can.
Second time they've had the ball in this kind of field position. Important they make it count. They're going to tap and go. There's a few Uni players still trying to get onside as it's dropped backwards there by Morgan. Morgan eventually picks it up and almost loses possession as a sea of yellow and blue jumpers come back and the turnover comes. And I'm not going to say that's the death knell for Randwick's chances this afternoon, but that one certainly hurts. That's a real kick in the guts for the visitors.
Yeah, that just unfortunately just had kind of anxiousness and, you know, we need to score written all over it there, and they just snatched that footy.
Driven upfield there by the fly half for Sydney University, Ash Hewson. Finds touch just inside Randwick's half. 20-3 might be enough at this stage, but certainly a try here for Sydney University would be enough to win that. The referee said knock back. I don't know if the Randwick fans totally agreed with that decision. As Badabasaga hands it off to Nagama. Quick hands, there's a break down the right-hand side, but it just comes unstuck a little bit as McCalman is able to get within 30 of the goal line. Spread now to Hewson. Hewson finds support on her flanker and Jones rumbles forward and picks up another 5 or 6 metres. Back to Nagama. Good strong carry. Sent one defender at least flying backwards into the turf, and it's almost intercepted. In fact, it will be by Randwick, who have been able to make a bit of a breakaway downfield and get within 5 of the halfway line. So it's almost like Sydney University have kind of, well, they'll get the ball back, Sydney Uni, fortuitously, but they haven't been playing that great in the last 5 minutes either. It's both sides have kind of gotten to a bit of a slot fest in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, she's wound up tightly, this one. There's a lot of tense rugby players out there.
So scrum will pack down on the 40-metre line, Randwick side of halfway. Students would just love to put this game to bed. A try will do it. A penalty goal could even do it, really. 17-point lead at the moment. They would need to score at least 3 times, Randwick, to get into this game and get into the lead. And considering they haven't scored 1 try yet, that makes it pretty difficult in 50-plus minutes of rugby union. Fed by Badabasaga. Goes to Houston at first receiver. Nice flat ball there on the inside to Bell. Bell caught with the ball 35 away, and that drizzle just starting to come back here on the Northern Beaches as the conditions will get just a little bit greasy. Goes to Volkman. Volkman charging away forward, gets the ball back on the inside. Ball kept alive. Here's McCalman darting back against the grain and eventually driven into the turf right on the 22, about 2 metres in from touch on that eastern side of the ground. It's a war of attrition out there in regards to Uni. They know that they can just hold on the ball for another 2 or 3 minutes. That tired defence of Randwick might just wilt as Nagama gets within 15 of the try line. Ball at the breakdown. Now goes forward to Shepherd, and Shepherd ploughs her way forward. And again, great possession, or use of possession here is Houston. Not sure what Houston was looking to do there, but she's hooked it into touch, or dead in goal, in fact. We'll come out to the 22 for the restart. Sydney Uni 20, Randwick 3, 14 and a half minutes remaining in this grand final as the rain falls here at Rat Park. Kick goes up to halfway. It's marked there by Badabasaga, and a long cutout pass as she fires it onto the chest there of Laws, who's got one try. Further wide, they go now to Emily Chancellor. Chancellor goes out to the wing three-quarter in McCalman. McCalman racing down the right edge, thrown into touch. Great defence. Great rugby all round, really. Uni did well to create a bit of a breakaway downfield, but great cover defence there by Randwick to make sure that no further points were added to that Sydney Uni scoreline.
Massive effort there from Randwick to get over and make that cover tackle. Eva Kapani, I don't know if she started on the wing or she ended up there, but she's certainly got the pace to be there, and she bundled the winger into touch.
That rain getting a little bit heavier as driving towards the try line there are the students. They think they've scored a try. They seem very confident about it. Referee's going to, again, for the second time this afternoon, confer with his touch judge. And if this is a try, there it is. Try to Sydney University, and I think that might be the grand final. 13 and a half remaining, fourth try for them. The students now lead by 25 points to 3 with a kick to come.
Huge moment there for young Sarah Volkman. She was a member of the Super W squad this year. She only played the one game. She's definitely a future front rower to look for. But massive, massive moment for her in a grand final.
So Volkman with the try. And some substitutions now by the Sydney University side. Pretty much knowing they've got this game wrapped up with a 22-point lead, 25-3. Houston would probably her most difficult kick. Probably almost due to the fact of the wind and rain now as she strikes this from 22 out. She's got the distance on the kick. Great kick, puts icing on the cake. And Sydney University extend their lead on grand final day, 27 points to 3. 12 and a half minutes remaining in this one. And I guess for Randwick now, it's such a hard thing to do. It's your last game of the season. You've only got 12 minutes, but you don't want to concede another 2 tries and all of a sudden be on the end of a drubbing. So motivation for them is probably trying to keep this scoreline respectable.
For sure, and these Randwick girls, you know, there's some really great rugby players out there. They will not lie down, and I'm sure they'll get a try in this half.
Dropped back by the students, but they managed to pick the ball back up, and good strong defence there on Noella Green. Brady O'Gorman there with her first touch as Houston then drives the ball into touch. Sails out in the full, so it's going to come back to where she kicked it from, which is going to help Randwick's cause to try and get a try in this afternoon's grand final. So they win the line out to the Magic, and about 40 out from the try line, but they're forced back again as Sydney Uni, they're just coming forward in waves and waves. They've been driven back 10 metres on 2 phases of play there and not really making any ground at all. They eventually do, through the run there of Cherrington, who gets close to the halfway line and then is backed up there by Amosa. Really good run by Amosa, probably one of the better runs by Randwick in this half. .40 away from the try line. Going close to the sideline. She's going to be driven out. She gets the ball back inside. Great defence again from Sydney University. They're not giving up at all. I know they're such a well-drilled side. And they have just, that's a real mauling in that passage of play by Uni. Defensively pushed them back about 12, 15 metres and then have been able to throw Randwick into touch on that occasion, as it's won by Sydney University as Houston goes, but the referee is going to rule a knock on. And so the Magic will get another opportunity to try and post more points and post their first try of the afternoon. 9.5 remaining in this grand final. Sydney University 27, the Randwick Magic 3.
I'd like to see them keep the ball in hand here, Randwick. Have a go. Let some of those electric outside backs they've got have a real crack at those uni players.
And it's not bad advice. The outside backs probably had to do more defensive work than have had to do attacking work this afternoon. Haven't really had an opportunity to make too many runs.
There's some friendly scrum technique chat going on there between those two front rows, I think.
Yep. Well, there was a bit of feeling in that last passage of play where one of the Randwick players was thrown over the touchline. There was words exchanged and a few pushes and shovers. Haruka Takahashi warming up on the sideline as well. Ball going back the way of Uni. Well, as impressive as the attack has been of the students today defensively, and the amount of turnovers they've been able to create is phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. That was unfortunate there for Randwick. Their scrum really performed. And again, just your halfback reaching in, trying to find the ball in these kind of conditions. Sometimes it just doesn't come out as cleanly as it should.
Nagama gets a well-earned rest, and she is replaced by Haruka Takahashi. Scrum packs down as the floodlights start to take effect at a pretty dark Rat Park at the moment here in Warringah. It's been all Sydney University this afternoon as Houston dumps the ball back on the inside and finds the run of Isabella Parkman, who's out there in jersey 23. Oh, good tackle, good hard hit by Randwick as they try and muscle up defensively and almost intercepted. And the penalty will go for the high shot anyway, back to the students. And they'll take this kick from about 35 or 36 metres out from their own goal line. Warning coming down here to Fredericks, I think it was. Drives this kick into touch up over the halfway line. Good touch finder once again there from Ash Houston, the veteran. So plenty of substitutions now as the hard workers for Sydney University get an opportunity to get a bit of a break with only 6.5 remaining, and some of these subs that no doubt have been dying to get into action for a good part of an hour have an opportunity to prove their wares over the final 5 or 6 minutes. Reinforcements being sent by the Magic. So scrum will pack down 5 metres inside Randwick territory. Plenty of noise being made by the Uni fans as they can sense the inevitable counting down. Nice to see some applause from the Randwick fans for a few of the Magic's players making their way into touch and off the field. Ball spread neatly now by Randwick as they try and do a bit of a wraparound, and it's a good carry forward there by Morgan, but she's taken down one of the angles, has been intercepted by Hewson, who dumps it off there to Hamilton. Grace Hamilton, who's inside the 22 now, as another attacking opportunity presents itself. Green. Now goes to O'Gorman. Tough to stop the big prop forward as she picks up 7 or 8 metres up through that middle portion of the field. At the back they go to Hewson. Now to Hamilton, giving those big fens that we've seen her do a couple of times this afternoon, but can't bridge the gap and go over the try line. It now goes to Noelle Green. Green backing away towards the try line, but Randwick have some numbers in there defensively and able to push her back into the field of play. Not a great pass. It was well taken in the end there by Kirili Lures, who already has a try this afternoon. O'Gorman almost to a gaping hole. O'Gorman still going over the line. What a try to the replacement prop forward. Carried 4 defenders with her. They were not stopping her this afternoon. One of the tries in the grand final, and that puts the icing on top of the cake for Sydney University. 32 points to 3 with their 5th try of the afternoon, and there's not too many better grand final tries than you'll see like that.
Yeah, Bridie carried a few of them over there. Again, that's just leg drive and not submitting to that tackle. That's super effort there from Bridie O'Gorman.
Brilliant carry. For the rugby league fans in attendance, almost reminiscent of that Peter Jackson try for Canberra against Balmain in the 1989 grand final. I know it's a heresy to talk about rugby league when a rugby union game's on, but it was so reminiscent. It was uncanny. It was such a strong carry. She hit the line at pace. Didn't have too much of a head start either. So it was just that leg drive and those strengths in the legs. And then with 3 or 4 defenders wrapped around her, still managed to push over the line and plant the ball over the try line. And they are having a lot of fun out there, Sydney University. Back-to-back premiers, having won it in 2018. They're going to win it again in 2019. 3.5 remaining. Hewson looking to add further salt into the wound for this Randwick Magic side. She's 22 out, 20 in. Right foot strikes it, sneaks it just inside the left upright. Another goal for Hewson. Add 2 more points to the tally. And it's the Students out by 34 points to 3 with 3 minutes remaining in this grand final. So the Magic get us back underway with a shallow kick-off, which is marked comfortably by Sydney University. The breakdown is Waddell, who's done a good job as replacement. There's O'Gorman again. You cannot keep her out of the game. She is a big engine, and Hewson kicks this ball downfield. It's marked at the back there by the Magic as they try and create something. It's a good return by the fullback who gets up towards the halfway line. Not too much time left here for the Magic. In fact, under 2.5 minutes. It's going to be some raucous celebrations when that siren goes and the ball goes into touch. Good carry forward there. As the Randwick forwards now delving into their reserves to try and find something. Now with Fredericks. Fredericks beats a couple of defenders. It was a bone-jarring tackle she ran into, though, about 30 metres from goal. Do the Magic have something to give their home fans that have made the journey across into the Northern Beaches and have been a bit subdued by, I guess, the great attacking and defensive performance of the Sydney University side? Ball spilled once more and University get it up. Oh, grabbing by the hair on Hamilton. Still holding on. There might be a little bit of afters here. To Hamilton's credit, she didn't swing. It would have been easy to get in there and put one on the chops of another player, and some frustration certainly coming out for this Randwick side. Probably something, Erin, you see a little bit more in women's side than the guys. Their hair's probably not short enough most of the time, although the man bun is quite famous in professional sports these days.
Yeah, there's a fair bit more hair on the field to grab, and sometimes it's grabbed accidentally. Looks like a bit of blood coming from Ash Houston's nose there. She did break it last weekend in the semi-final, but there was nothing that was going to keep her off this field today.
No
so
way.
I'm sure she'll be literally counting the seconds until she can ice it with a tin of something with amber fluid in it, I assume.
Yeah, it's one way of taking the pain away. Houston, we're down to 60 seconds as Houston thumps this one into touch. Good touch finder, really good touch finder. You wonder whether, when the siren sounds, the students are going to be fine just to kick it out, or whether they're going to try and get one more try and end the season well and truly on a high. We'll soon find out. 40 seconds left. Sydney University 34, Randwick 3. This will be the third time in 2019 that Sydney University have beaten Randwick. But none more important than this fixture. Houston throws a dummy, almost breaks her way through, but makes a few metres for her troubles as well. From the breakdown, they go from Waddell, open side, now to Grace Hamilton, and Hamilton throwing her body forward in any kind of way she can. 15 seconds of regulation time left as it's taken forward by Takahashi. The uni chance bellowing out as Houston drives this one into the corner. It's not going to reach the touchline, I don't think. It's going to be picked up by the Magic, who are going to be looking to subdue the students at least for a little bit, at least try and delay the inevitable for as long as they can as they weave their way through the uni defence. And it will be a penalty to Randwick. So the celebrations are going to have to be put on ice just for a little bit longer. It was 15-3 at half-time, 19 unanswered points in the second half for Randwick. As the ball, there's a bit of a collision there. There's a player down on that far side. It might be McCalman, actually, who gets up as the ball is toe dead. And that'll be it. That is full time. And Sydney University are the Jack Scott Cup winners for 2019. They won it in 2018. They've done it back-to-back. And the celebrations start here at Rat Park in Warringah. A 34 points to 3 drubbing of a Randwick side who, it must be said, probably didn't deserve to go down by 31 points. The scoreline doesn't reflect how tough and how physical they were for the full 70 minutes. But Sydney University, as they have all season, Aaron, just been too clinical, too strong, too fast, and a really great defensive performance backed up by a slick attacking performance has seen them really brush aside Randwick without too many concerns here this afternoon.
Yeah, fantastic effort from Randwick. I mean, fantastic season from them. This is their first season as a 15s rugby club. They've been pretty strong in 7s for the last couple of years, and great to see them in the real game, 15s, you know, playing real rugby, but they can definitely hold their heads high. That is a pretty classy Sydney University team. Ash Houston just controls the game, steers them around the park. And, in these kind of conditions, it was always going to be important to play field position. And when Uni got in the right field position, they took their advantages. And
no doubt a real learning experience for Randwick this afternoon, not just because it's their first year in this competition, but when you're playing against a team that has 5 or 6 Wallaroos or players that have played previously for the Waratahs or have played previously internationally, you're always going to be tough. And you mentioned they're a young side, so no doubt a lot of the young players take a lot out of that, and they didn't disgrace themselves this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. And as I said, they've got a huge future in front of them, that Randwick team. And but look, back-to-back now for Sydney Uni. They've been a very strong club for a very long time. And, I heard some whispers that might have been Ash Houston's last game of rugby. I'm not sure I believe it just yet, but she's definitely getting closer every game to hanging the boots up. And I just want to say big shout out to her. She's been an exceptional servant to women's rugby.
And if it is her last game, it's a pretty nice way to go out. She kind of pulled the strings like a puppet master from the first minute to the 70th minute and missed a couple of goals, but her goal kicking was brilliant this afternoon in testing conditions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ash is the kind of player that you're very happy when you see her pull your colour jersey on, but when she pulls on the opposite colour jersey, you know she's going to have an influence on the match. Supported, there's a lot of good young uni girls in that squad as well. So if Ash does hang up the boots, they will only get stronger as well, just like Randwick. And, as I said, big credit to Randwick and the effort that the club's put into this team. They've been very well supported by the Randwick club, and can't wait to see them keep growing.
If I'm not mistaken, the double for Sydney University after winning did they win the Shoot Shield? I have a feeling they did.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about
season.
that.
Yeah.
That's old news.
Yeah.
I'm a rat, so yeah, they did. They unfortunately handed the Ringer boys a loss last weekend, though. After with a probably a different game to this, you know, the Rats were up 16-0, and Sydney Uni came home with a really wet sail and ended up in front. So yeah, the double for the club. And I think they might have won first grade Colts too last weekend. So
they're very well drilled from kind of the top, aren't they? Kind of down to the lower grades. And as an absolute cricket nuffy, like I know that Sydney Uni dominate the Sydney grade competition as well, and have kind of won something like 6 or 7 out of the last kind of 10 or 11 years. So they've got a pretty rich history over there, don't they, the students?
Yeah, which is, you know, why it's so easy to hate them, because you know, it's easy to hate the top dogs, but they've definitely, you know, deserved their all the accolades today. That was a pretty impressive performance under what were pretty trying conditions. So big congratulations to Sydney Uni today. They're going to lift that old Jack Scott Cup, which is looking a bit worse for wear. It's been to a few parties, that cup, but
that's right. Had a fair few different liquids poured into it, no doubt.
Yeah, it's but they I'm sure they'll have a great time tonight.
We'll just jump off the commentary stream for the time being. We'll keep the camera rolling for all the post-match celebrations here, but please don't go anywhere, because not only is the celebration of Sydney University lifting up the Jack Scott Cup with a 34 points to 3 win coming up, we also have the Rugby Sevens final, the women's final between Southern Districts and the University of Adelaide. We'll be jumping back on there to bring you through all the action of what is promises to be an exciting contest there. So please don't go anywhere. Join us in around 10 or 15 minutes time for all the action of the Sevens final, which is kicking off at 3:45.
No, can I just say, fantastic game, girls. Gracie and I were on the panel yesterday talking to a whole bunch of blokes. And one of the things we said to them was, you guys don't understand how well women play rugby. And today, you did an outstanding job. So congratulations to both teams. I'm really proud of you. Congratulations to the Sydney World Ethic. I have to display my bias. I've been watching Sydney University play since I was 3 years old. So go girls! So yeah, so this is the best and fairest, named after my mum, who would have been equally proud of me. So it goes to...
The two ourselves taking goes to Sarah.
Welcome back to Rat Park. Jack Clifton here with you to bring you the final of the Sydney Sevens women's competition. And it's two sides that are very far away from each other in terms of geographical location, although they are right next to each other on the field. It is Southern Districts up against the Adelaide University. Run through the two sides for you before we get underway. For the south side, it is Tian Kavanagh, Oliver Brooks, Andy Robinson, Libby Holloway, Jenny Fotheringham, Patricia Ruckudrock, Lauren Murty, Claire Belpunty, Emma Wade, Kieran Berry, Jordan Parsonage, Brittany Vanderhart, Oliver White, and Mem Vubretta Levere. Well, for Adelaide, Alice Gregory, as we see an error straight away, and Southern Districts will get an opportunity here via the scrum feed. For Adelaide, Alice Gregory in 3, then Bree Nathan, Alicia Butchers, Darcy Sadler, Ellie Canoppa, Lauren Potter, Jasmine Joyce, Courtney Munro, Lauren Kildare, Maddie Smith, Kelly Rowe, Lauren Mayer, and Lily Ryden. So there is going to be just 7-minute halves in this. We did theorise whether they would be 10-minute halves, but it is still going to be the 7-minute halves here, with both Southern Districts and Adelaide looking to take out the Sydney Sevens tournament here at Rat Park, as we see a nice little break downfield there by Ruckudrock, the player, I guess, in a bit of a fly half position as they attack down that right-hand channel to Southern Districts, who weren't able to have much success in the Shoot Shield this season, so we'll be hoping that their women's sevens competition, or their women's in this sevens competition, could bring them some silverware as Adelaide Uni break it down this side closest to our commentary position. Big tackle there, but it will be a penalty for offside against Southern Districts. So penalty going the way of Adelaide University. Just a bit of a delay as scrum is about to pack down. Some questions being asked by the Southern District side to the referee. Scrum's going to pack down about 25 metres out from their own line. Adelaide looking to get it, but it's Southern Districts who have come up with the football there through Tian Kavanagh. Good desperation play on that occasion, as the ball is spread from left to right into the arms there of Emma Wade, and Wade can't get away from the onrushing defence, and picked up here by Adelaide University as they get a chance to counter, but they throw the ball straight back to Kavanagh, and she's able to scoop the ball up and give Southern Districts good field position once more. Long cut-out pass out there to Vanderhart, and Vanderhart is going to be drilled into the ground. Back to the middle they go with Kavanagh once more. Long cut-out pass across there to Olivia White. Olivia White breaks down the left-hand channel. They're not going to stop her. She's going to go in for a try. Well, she passes it wisely back inside to Lauren Murty, who scores next to the sticks. And Southern Districts open up the scoring in this Sevens grand final. They lead by 5 points to 0. 4.5 left in this first half. It's 7-minute halves in this Sevens competition. It was nice work there by Tian Kavanagh, not only to get the football back, but then spread the ball quickly to the left, and very unselfishly it was thrown back inside to Lauren Murty. She was able to dive next to the sticks, and we see the conversion is good. So 7-0 to Southern Districts of Adelaide. An early lead here, 3.5 left in this first half, and you barely have time to blink in this Sevens competition, so you don't really want to be conceding tries first, or finding yourselves down by 7 points or 10 points or whatever it may be. But Adelaide will get the football back, courtesy of the restart here by Southern Districts. It will be Kavanagh, who's been orchestrating everything to take it from halfway. She thumps this one into the air, and it's taken after juggling initially there by Courtney Munro, and she finds support, and they bust right at the middle to Adelaide. She might not have the pace to go all the way. It's a good cover defence tackle there on Alicia Butchers, who made a good 45-metre dash there. Back to the centre of the park they go, in a long cut-out pass. They've got numbers now, as most teams do in Sevens rugby. There's plenty of space out on the field, but they eventually collared and find themselves put to ground 22 metres away from this Southern Districts try line. Taken forward by Munro once more. Munro almost broke through, but was clung onto the ankle by a Southern Districts defender trailing through. 22 metres away. Out they go here to Butchers. Butchers breaks a couple of tackles, links up well there, back on the inside to a support player on Lauren Mayer, but she is tackled 15 metres away. Good defence once more by Southern Districts, who have been able to create that turnover, and they kick downfield, but already looks like some tired bodies out there as it's not a great chase by Southern Districts. And then in fact it's the number 1 Kavanagh that has to give chase. It's been knocked on there by Adelaide. That is an absolute cardinal sin with 2 minutes left in this first half. They dropped the ball about 30 or 35 metres away from their own try line and have opened the door well and truly here for Southern Districts as they make a couple of substitutions to potentially add to this 7-point lead that they already have. Clock running down. Southern Districts not showing a whole lot of urgency to get play back underway. I guess it is understandable to some respect with them holding a 7-point lead as they go from right. They go back to the left here to try and find some gaps, and they might find some gaps here as the pass is offloaded out there back to Libby Holloway. Holloway breaks a couple of tackles and is going to be pushed into touch. Nice cover defence there by the University of Adelaide as they got numbers across there and pushed the aforementioned Libby Holloway into touch as she flirted with that sideline. Line out going the way of Adelaide. 60 seconds left in this first half, and it's Southern Districts 7, Adelaide 0. It's stolen by Southern Districts. Kavanagh has it. It's a shocking-looking pass, but it's picked up there by Andy Robinson. Goes further wide to Holloway. Holloway needs support. She had support on her outside, but opted to go it alone and was tackled with it right on the 22. Was a bone-jarring tackle there from Adelaide, and they were able to get the football back, courtesy of a nice tackle there by Lauren Kildare. And they will pack down a scrum, which may be one of the final acts of this first half with only 30 seconds remaining. Only 4 people in the scrum in 7s. You obviously can't have the same numbers that you can have with 15 aside. Spread wide as Adelaide look for support. Good pass on the outside there, finds Jasmine Joyce, who breaks a couple of tackles. Good strength there as she gets up and goes again to Joyce outside the 22 to about 30 out from her own line. Now Adelaide looking to spread the ball along the back line. They had some space on that outside if they wanted to go that way as the siren sounds in the background, but we've got to wait until the play is dead or the ball is kicked out of play, but the play is dead there. That is half time in this 7s final, and it's Southern Districts who have their nose in front, 7 points to 0. For them, it was a try to Lauren Murty in the opening couple of minutes of this contest, which has kept them in. And at the moment, they lead by 7 points, and it'll be a quick turnover. We have only a 45-second break in 7s. So it is the quickest, I guess, formation of rugby union that can play. And obviously in the Olympics now, having been in the Rio Olympics in 2016. You have like the 7s World Championship and lots of different tournaments that covered and entertain people worldwide. Got teams like USA and Canada in both the women's and men's draw internationally that have had a fair bit of success over the last couple of years. And no doubt these girls would love to try and make it to the next level, make it to that international level, and they're doing their chances no harm at all by playing on the grand stage of the Sydney Rugby 7s here at Rat Park in Warringah. Both sides just getting some last-minute instructions. Only 7 minutes left in this one. Can Adelaide get their way back in the contest and wrestle back that 7-point lead, which Southern Districts, the girls from the Sutherland Shire, currently have? Based out at Foreshore Rugby Park at Sylvania, on the banks of the Port Hacking. The way it stands, they will be the champions if they can hold on to this lead. They will get first use of the football in this second half. And we are back underway by the boot of Bree Nathan as it's picked up here by Southern Districts as they carry the ball forward to about 31 metres out from their own line. Out of acting half they go with a nice dancing little run there by Lauren Murty. She's tackled. At the back they go from Kavanagh. She finds support on the outside there to Vanderhart. Vanderhart finds a bit of support, and now Southern Districts are charging their way downfield. That was a very nice run upfield there by Emma Wade, but she's collared 45 metres away from the Adelaide try line. These long sweeping backline moves. Although I guess to be fair, everyone's a backline in, everyone's a back in rugby sevens. Camped right on the halfway as they trudge forward and make another 2 or 3 metres. And again, Southern Districts ploughed their way forward to get themselves in decent field position. Goes across there to Brooks. She goes back to Kavanagh. Kavanagh with a kick looking for her winger, but it goes straight down the throat of an Adelaide player. In fact, it is Jasmine Joyce who breaks her way downfield, and Joyce has broken about 4 tackles inside the 22. Foot race to the line, and she scores right under the posts. 5.5 minutes left, and Adelaide get that try they were searching for. It was a great piece of desire and skill there from Jasmine Joyce. We saw it show some good strength on the far side in that first half, and she's done that there. Broke about 4 tackles and then showed the pace to run the final 35 or 40 metres. Kick from right in front is going to be taken by Darcy Sadler, and Sadler knocks it over the crossbar. So we've got a tied ball game here. 7 plays 7 with 5 minutes left in this Sydney Sevens final. That's going to give Adelaide a huge shot of confidence, considering Southern Districts did have possession inside the University of Adelaide's half. They go for the short kick-off. It does travel the required 10 metres, and it's taken there by Olivia White. And Olivia White breaks her way through. She's just got the fullback to beat. She steps around her, but she's tripped up with a good tackle there around the ankles by Bree Nathan. But Southern Districts on the counter, on the attack. Downfield they go here through Randwick. Randwick then fires it out to a winger on the far side, and she's inside the 22, dragged into touch, and the linesman's flag does go up. So the ball will be heading back the way of the University of Adelaide via a line out. Still 4 minutes left in this one. Still anyone's ball game. Just the 2 tries, one for Southern Districts and one to Adelaide. Jasmine Joyce scoring the level up for Adelaide, and there might be an opportunity here as Adelaide race their way downfield. Cover defence misses over the halfway. Joyce is showing some good pace. Cover defence coming across from Southern Districts. They're not going to catch Jasmine Joyce, I don't think, though. She's run the length of the field to score for Adelaide. And Adelaide have turned a 7-point deficit at the moment into a 5-point lead with only 3.5 remaining. Jasmine Joyce, she didn't look like she had the Southern Districts defence covered, but she just managed to show enough pace to keep them grasping at thin air, and it was a really good run and showed and exhibited just how pacey an individual she is. She scored both the tries for Adelaide University so far this afternoon. They lead 12-7. Conversion attempt is going to come from Darcy Sadler as the clock continues to run. It's not a bad strike at all. It's beautiful. It's right over the black dot. And we are back to a 7-point lead, but this time it is a 7-point lead to Adelaide. University of Adelaide lead 14 points to 7, 2 minutes 50 left in this one. Is there a few more twists and turns in this game? Joyce gets a wool-earned breather. Marked on the full there by Olivia White. And Olivia White again trudges her way forward, carrying defenders with her. And she's broken that tackle even though they had hold of both her legs. Really good run, and she gets within 5 of the halfway. What can South show here? Goes to Brooks further wide. They go from the right-hand side back to the left, and they break through the middle of the field there through the number 6 in Patricia Rakadrock. Rakadrock gets the ball back on the inside, but good cover defence. It is going to be a forward pass though. And the scrum is going to go the way of Adelaide. So now your clock management really comes into play. They've got a 7-point lead. There's 2 minutes on the clock if they can hold on to the football, and obviously a lot harder in 7s than it is in 15s. But I guess the best way to put the game to bed for the University of Adelaide girls will be to score a try. They've shown some pace, although their pacey player Jasmine Joyce is off the field at the time being. They dart the ball back on the inside, and it was Kelly Rowe who made that pass as they ruck the ball forward up over the 40-metre line and within probably 6 or 7 metres of the halfway line. Across the back line they go. Rowe again feeding her outside players. Under a minute and a half remaining, so time the enemy now as we see a break downfield there by the Adelaide side. It was Bree Nathan which started it. They keep the ball alive. It's dumped up there to Elisa Butchers. Butchers needs support. She does find a player on the outside. Back on the inside here to Kelly Rowe. Rowe's going to race away. They're not going to stop her, and that might be the sevens final for the girls from South Australia. They get their third try next to the sticks with 60 seconds to go, and that will be the ball game. 19 points to 7 with a kick to come. Really good counter-attacking play. They've been able to show really good paces on the edges, and that's not only what's helped them in today's game, in this final, but in the lead-up in the preliminary matches as well. 9-10 unanswered points for the University of Adelaide as the clock rolls down to almost under 30 seconds. Conversion is wide left, so no conversion there, so it stays 19 points to 7, so time is going to defeat Southern Districts here, as are the University of Adelaide, who are going to run out the Sydney Sevens champions here at Rat Park in Warringah. Shallow kick which has evaded all of the Southern Districts players and gone all the way back inside their 22, almost back to the 10-metre line. And with only 3 seconds remaining, it's been dropped there. And it's been picked up by Southern Districts. Adelaide have it. They have a chance to score one more try as Kelly Rowe dances away through a couple of defenders. She did score the last try and was almost getting a second one there. And that'll be it. So full time in the Sydney Sevens tournament, and is the University of Adelaide running out winners here at Rat Park, winning by 19 points to 7 over the Southern District side. It was 7-0 at half time, but 2 tries to Jasmine Joyce and 1 try to Kelly Rowe has got the University of Adelaide the Sevens title here this afternoon. For Southern Districts, Lauren Murty with a lone try for them. They did lead 7-0 at half time, but 3 tries and 2 goals in the second half, enough for Adelaide to run out winners by 19 points to 7. They've had a wonderful tournament and a deserved winners here this afternoon, and commiserations to Southern Districts, who did really well to get to the final, but unfortunately just didn't have the gas or skill really required in the second half to go on with the job and get the win. So in the end, it's Adelaide winning by 19 points to 7. Earlier today in the Jack Scott Cup final of the women's first grade final, it was Sydney University 34 defeating the Randwick Magic 3. So a big thanks to everyone that has helped out on in today's match. I want a big thanks to my cameraman Will, who's been doing a fantastic job on the producing side of things, and all of the camera work as well. And it's been a really fantastic day of uni. Also a massive thanks to my co-commentator Erin Morton, did a wonderful job in colour commentary in that first game, and was able to give us some updates on some of those players, knows them inside out. So Sydney Uni win the Jack Scott Cup 34-3 in the Sydney Sevens tournament, winners by Adelaide by 19 points to 7 over Southern Districts. This is Jack Clifton signing off. We thank you for tuning in to live stream. Hope you enjoyed all the rugby action for Warringah, but until next time, it's goodbye.